A teacher at a charter school in Dorchester was recently chosen as the National Teacher of the Year. Since 2007, she's been a humanities teacher at Codman Academy Charter Public School. We'd like to welcome from Codman Academy, Sydney Chaffee, and the head of school, Thabiti Brown. Thank you both very much for being with us.
Thanks for having us.
I want to start with Sydney Chaffee. One of the things I've noticed about you when you talk about what you do at the school is you always link education with social justice. Talk about why that's so important.
I think education is a tool for social justice. So education is a way that we can help our kids make the world that they want to live in. And that's important because our kids deserve to live in a just world. They deserve to live in a world where they are valued and where their voices are lifted up. Our kids are creating the world of the future. They're creating the world that we're going to live in one day. And so, of course, centering everything around justice and equity is incredibly important.
Thabiti Brown, talk about the importance of that throughout the whole school, because I think of some of the people who are instrumental in setting up this school. This has been the narrative all along, I think.
From the very beginning, we're in year 16, just finishing year 16, and Meg Campbell, one of our founders, George Brackett, one of our founders, and Bill Walczak, one of our founders, from the very beginning said, let's find a space in the city of Boston where we can have a high quality education for high school students. Let's connect them to issues of social justice, which is also about health and about wellness and about the idea of community development and engagement. And so being housed in the Codman Square Health Center is a big piece of what we've done. And frankly, as we've grown out K-8 to go in addition to our K-12, we've just been building in more touch points. The Dorchester YMCA, the Huntington Theater Company, the arts integrated with wellness, integrated with this idea of fulfilling everyone's promise. So if each student is healthy enough and strong enough, knowledgeable enough to fulfill their own promise, they can go out and change the world.
Sydney, talk about your mission as a teacher, because you're described as a humanities teacher, and that right there seems to be crossing boundaries. You know, in high school we might have English, or we might have some foreign language or history or something, but how do you make the students cross those boundaries?
Absolutely. So we teach humanities at Codman, which is just history and English combined into one course. So we're teaching history and English in a really interdisciplinary way, which speaks to me. That's how I love to learn. And so we introduce it to the kids from day one. This is your history course or your social studies course and your English course combined. So we're going to teach you how to be better readers and writers through reading and writing about history. We're going to teach you to understand history more deeply by reading and writing about it.
But this is also history speaking to the students that you deal with, and a lot of these are students from Dorchester, maybe, a lot of them from low-income families. So what's different about a history curriculum?
Absolutely. So my curriculum is called Justice and Injustice, and it's focused on a few moments in history where people were oppressed or where they were subject to injustice, and the ways in which they attempted to fight for justice or did fight successfully for justice. And that's really relevant for kids. There are a lot of connections to today. There are a lot of connections to their own lives. And so the history really comes alive for them in a way that is engaging and powerful.
Thabiti, there's a parallel, I guess, with what you do in other disciplines, because if you have students involved in the healthcare sphere, I mean, they're not just learning how to be doctors and nurses, but I imagine, you know, they're taking on social justice issues that concern public health, I imagine.
Absolutely. You know, our students, I think, are educated in a way to think about the work that's happening in the biology class to also have an impact on the larger community. Right now, the AP Biology students have recently applied for and gotten a grant from an organization called EcoRise, where they said, here's some things that we think we can do to improve the health and wellness of our community. And EcoRise said, here's some grants that we can offer to you. So I just left the school building where they were remaking some of the areas of the school, planting seeds for food, planting seeds for vegetation. The idea being, let's find ways to grow our community from the inside, and let's have students be at the forefront of doing that. And so food, we know, is one of those major issues. We need access to healthy food. A social justice issue also connected to health and wellness.
This has been news, and we're talking with Sydney Chaffee and Thabiti Brown from Codman Academy Charter Public School. Sydney, I want to get into some of the nitty-gritty of teaching every day, because one of the nicest things I heard about you from one of your former students was that when she was struggling, you took extra time to help her, and if one strategy didn't work, you didn't think just inside the box. You found another strategy. I mean, that sounds amazing, really.
Yeah, I mean that's the work of teaching. That's the puzzle of it and the magic of it and the joy of it is you have to figure out you have all of these humans in front of you and all of their minds work differently and that's a beautiful thing. So how can we get inside those minds and figure out how to help kids access whatever we're doing, figure out how to unleash that genius that's within them. And all of those things I've learned from other teachers, my own teachers and my colleagues, and have built up a repertoire over time of all of these different strategies that I can try with kids, and then just listening to kids and figuring out what they need and how they need to learn. Sometimes the best tricks that I've picked up from watching kids teach each other and figuring it out that way. Oh, that's how they needed to explain that. So being able to step back and see the kids as experts in the room can be really powerful.
I'm also intrigued by the assemblies that you do with students. Talk about how that works.
So we have at our school a weekly community circle where we bring together the entire upper school, the 9th through 12th graders. And it's run by the students. So there's a club of students, they get together, they write the script, they come up with these wacky themes, they have costumes, they introduce the adults who come on and make announcements, and then our seniors give senior talks. So all of those pieces, well, many of those pieces existed before I got to the school, but when I got my hands on it, I just sort of tried to add more student voice into it and bring it to life a little bit more. And so it's a really important part of our culture. It's a really important part of our week that happens every Thursday morning and brings everyone together. And the exciting part is that now that's gone down into our middle and lower schools, and they're running community circles as well.
Thabiti, now that you have a National Teacher of the Year at the school, you're getting a lot more attention. What about applicants?
Yeah, we've had a record number of applications this past year, and I think in part because of the quality work that our teachers have done and our staff has done, and Sydney's leadership is a big piece of that. We had over 3,000 applications this past year for 50 slots. It shows the significant demand in the city of Boston for high quality seats, for high quality education. And it also shows that we can do more, I believe, as a society to make sure that we are creating opportunities and options for our families. I wish the 950 who weren't able to get into Codman land in a spot that's going to feel as strong and supportive to them as they were hoping that our school would have been.
Cindy, I want to go back to what got you on the path to being a teacher. I know this is a great school with a great kind of sense of mission, but what about your own personal sense of mission, going back when you were at least in high school, let's say?
I didn't realize that I wanted to be a teacher until I was in college. And then there was this moment where I had an epiphany and I realized, oh, I love learning and I love when my teachers ask me the right question and I have that sense of being on fire with understanding something new. And if I was a teacher, I could do that. And then everything started to make sense, all of these different ways of being that I had always had going back into elementary school, but I'd never put it together before. So really in college, I just realized I wanted to be like my professors and I wanted to be able to have a job where I could live and work in a school and have those kinds of conversations and that kind of curiosity and energy around me all the time.
Well, now you get to be an advocate for teachers. What would you like to do in that capacity?
So I want to keep learning. I have this amazing opportunity to go learn from lots and lots of other teachers, and I'm really excited about that. And there are a few messages that I want to send. I want to talk about the possibilities of education as social justice. I want to talk about how we provide high quality education to all of our learners. And I want to talk about teachers being lifelong learners and all of the things that we still have to do to learn and grow together. I think being able to talk about growth and mistakes and failure as teachers is incredibly powerful, and it's something I'm excited to do more of.
Thabiti, we should mention, of course, if people want more information about the school, you've got a good website they can look at.
Come check us out. We're at www.codmanacademy.org. We have a lot of beautiful work from our students and from our staff over many years that is showcased there. And if you want to learn more, come see us.
Thank you both very much, Thabiti Brown and Sydney Chaffee.
Thank you, Chris.
Codman Academy. Up ahead, we'll tell you about a free concert by a new classical orchestra.